I'm navigating multiple friendship breakups at once right now. And I want to talk about this because this has been one of the hardest things that I've ever gone through in my life. And through this experience, I've learned that unfortunately they're very common and it's a part of life. It's a part of growing and healing is losing people. In this episode, particularly, we're going to talk about friendships. And while I would love to talk about how to thrive and what you can learn and how to end up on top after an experience like this, honestly, that's just not where I'm at right now. I am truly in survival mode. I'm truly figuring this out as I go day by day, sometimes hour by hour. So today I want to share how to survive a friendship breakup. This video is for someone who is in the thick of a friendship breakup. You are in the trenches. You are just trying to make it through. I fully believe that there's a time to process and heal and learn and grow. And while, yes, that has started happening for me, today, I just want to talk about simply surviving an experience like this, because like I said, this is one of the hardest things that I have ever gone through as an adult. I've had friendship breakups throughout my life, but nothing of this caliber. And it is teaching me a lot. And I know that there's a lot that I can share with people that will help them too. Because like I said, as I've talked about this with other people, I'm learning that this is such a collective experience, that this happens to almost anybody. And it's really fucking hard. So here's what I've done to navigate this. I want to start by talking about why friendship breakups are so hard, because it really is like a romantic relationship breakup, but it's just more complex than that. Because typically when a romantic relationship ends, you're done. There's not other people involved. And with friendships, there's no expectation that you only have one friend. With friendships, you have multiple friends, and that's normal and that's okay. And all of your friendships are different levels of depth and severity. Whereas in romantic relationships, typically, stereotypically, there is one person that you're really close with. So usually when a romantic relationship ends, that means I can see other people, there's other opportunities. Whereas when a friendship ends, it almost feels like having that breakup conversation or that breakup experience is kind of unnecessary because you are able to have a bunch of different friends. And so I think that's why friendship breakups hurt so much more, is because there's no expectation for you to be someone's only one person. And so when it ends, it usually means that like something has happened, something is no longer sustainable, and it just feels a lot more intense. And friendship breakups can usually be more complex because the boundaries aren't as clear with contact, when you're going to see them, with mutual friends involved. And with friendship breakups, a lot of times there are other people involved and affected by the situation, and that just makes the whole thing way more complicated. So the first thing that you're going to do when you're navigating any breakup, but specifically friendship breakups, is you're going to let yourself feel it. And this has really been a daily journey for me. Is grief comes in waves, and you're going to feel such intense grief because if you're anything like me, like I love my friends, I value my friends, I care about them. And so losing somebody close to me in my life is so devastating because there's so much love there. Usually when there's a lot of love lost, it shows up as grief. And so now I'm experiencing a lot of grief. And a huge part of this has been letting myself feel it, which is so uncomfortable. And grief shows up when it wants to. It doesn't wait until you're alone in your room. Grief shows up when I'm at work and I'm supposed to be taking care of kids. Grief shows up when you're hanging out with other people and a song plays that reminds you of them, and it sends you into this spiral of sadness and disappointment and just all of these mixed emotions. And I know it sounds so simple, but it's a lot harder in practice, just truly accepting your feelings and sitting with them. That's mindfully breathing through an emotion, noticing where it shows up in your body and just allowing it to be there, not punting it off with a distraction or something else. But when you feel sad, pausing and letting the sadness wash over you, allowing it to be a teacher and accepting that it's there. And I encourage you, even though it's so uncomfortable, lean into your emotions during this time, lean into this experience, because feeling your feelings of grief fully will allow you to move on, will allow you to process. And it's not really a part that you can skip. Unfortunately, pain demands to be felt. And if you push it off, it's just going to keep growing and growing. And so although it's short term, so uncomfortable to feel your feelings, especially of grief and loss and frustration and shame and all of the things that come with friendship breakups, feeling your feelings in the short term will help you so much more in the long term. And in the short term too, fully just give yourself permission to grieve. Go through pictures, go through videos, listen to songs that make you think of them. lean into this experience and just allow it to be there. The magnitude of your grief shows how much you cared for this relationship, and it's okay to take your time grieving something that you've lost. And I want you to do all of this without judgment. I feel like that is kind of the hard part of this, is allowing the feelings, and it's so complicated, but truly sitting with and accepting how you feel, even if you wish you could change it, even if you think you should be over it, feeling your feelings without judgment. That's the first step. Now, the next step, again, we're talking survival. So I want you to find comfort and I want you to pour into yourself however feels good for you. For me, I found so much comfort in this wonderful book by Matt Haig. I'll put it in the show notes. It's called The Comfort Book, and it's full of hope and quotes. And it really, honestly, really carried me through this experience. So I will link that in the description because, oh my gosh, that book was really helpful. Finding something cozy and comforting to give your time and attention to. That could be a comfort show. I restarted Sex and the City. I've seen that show probably 4 or 5 times. And oh my gosh, it just makes me feel so much better watching something that I know sparks joy. Doing things like completely turning your phone off, going into nature, reading a book, cooking, whatever you like to do that helps you feel better. Lean into that right now. Also, extra self-care. During this whole experience, I've got a massage, I got a mani-pedi. Like, I've been pouring into my self-care because right now I need it more than ever. Doing things like taking a bath, taking naps, like whatever helps you feel better. That could be journaling. Whatever helps you feel better, do more and then more of that. Whatever you think you need, do a little bit extra because this is, again, one of the hardest things to navigate. The next thing I want you to do is lean on others. Now, this can feel really hard when you're grieving the loss of a person, but talking this experience out with other people, preferably people that are not involved in the situation. So not your mutual friends. I have scheduled so many therapy appointments during this whole time because my therapist is an unbiased person that can help me navigate this. And the friends that have shown up for me through this experience have really, really carried me through this. I have talked it out with so many people, and it's just been really helpful to process and get things off my chest. Again, especially with people that are not involved. And with that being said, with friendship breakups, there are pretty much always going to be other people involved in it. And so while it's important to talk and process in general, it's also important to talk to the mutual friends that you have and make sure that you're getting your side out and that you're expressing yourself too. Because something that I've really fought the urge to do is isolate and hermit away and not share my truth. And that's a disservice to myself and my experience. So as hard as it is to open up with people that know both you and the person that you're having a falling out with, it's really important to get your side across because a lot of times people's perspectives are not the same. And so if you're not advocating for yourself, if you're not sharing your experience, then people might view you in a way that's inaccurate and isn't a true representation of who you are. And that has been a really, really hard thing for me to do because I have a lot of respect for people. And the last thing I want to do is like muddy the waters or make anybody pick sides. And so another thing I want you to do during this time is take a step back when you need to. If there is drama, if there is gossip, if things are just too intense, it is okay to take a step back. There is nothing wrong with that. There is time later for all of the dust to settle and to figure out a game plan for how you're going to move on going forward. But in the short term, it's okay to take a break from the mutual relationships that you have with other people. And this also gives you the perfect opportunity to prioritize other relationships. So through this experience, I have been spending a lot more time with people that feel significantly more aligned, with people that reach out and want to see me, want to know how I'm doing. And overall, it just feels like a lot more of a supportive relationship. And so let yourself prioritize other relationships. It is so natural in life for things to change and evolve and shift. And while relationship, specifically friendship breakups, can make you want to like death grip and be like, no, I want this to stay the same. I don't want this to change. The nature of life is change. And so allowing things to be, letting go, and flowing with the natural progression of other relationships. And so if that means prioritizing other people, that is okay. There's nothing wrong with it. And friendship breakups can kind of be a perfect opportunity to transition into more aligned relationships. The next part of how to survive a friendship breakup is to avoid contact with that person. Just like a regular breakup, in the short term, seeing their posts, seeing other people post what they're up to, hearing from them, group chats, whatever, that can send you down a spiral. So as best as you can, whatever feels good for you, avoid contact with that person. In the short term, things are so intense, things are so emotional that you don't want to add fuel to the fire. I'm not somebody that blocks people, but I have blocked people. I have muted people. We have left group chats. Like, it is just something that sometimes you need to do for yourself to get through a really tough experience. And again, you can figure out a game plan later for all your mutual friends and how you'll figure it out. But in the short term, when you are simply surviving the day-to-day experience, you can take a step back. You can mute people, you can unfollow, you do whatever you need to do in the short term to take care of yourself. And I want to end with this, which was such a perspective shift that I got in therapy today that literally blew my mind. Relationships ending does not mean failure. I want to say it again. Relationships ending does not mean failure. I was listening to this podcast that said, if you are not losing friends, you are not growing. And that really blew my mind because in my perspective, I always want to see, where am I accountable in this situation? Where was my responsibility? What part did I play? And yes, all of that self-reflection is so important. And sometimes relationships end. That is normal. That is a normal and natural part of life. And while we want to death grip sometimes to the people that are closest to us, sometimes there's nothing we can do. Sometimes the nature of a connection is that you're close for a season, you're close for a reason. This is so corny, but sometimes that's it. Sometimes people are put into your life to teach you something and to be with you for a short amount of time, and then you go about your lives. And that can be neutral. That doesn't have to be this crazy negative statement. It can be neutral. Relationships end. That does not mean it was a failure. That doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It is a normal part of life for relationships to end. If you're going through a friendship breakup, I'm sending you the biggest hug in the world right now. I'm sending you so much love because I know how hard this is. Again, this has been literally one of the hardest experiences of my adult life, and I have not lived a cushy life, okay? I've had a lot of hard experiences too. So if you're going through something like this, I'm sending you so much love. I'm sending you so much grace, and know that with time, you will get through this. Things will change. You will feel better. It won't always feel this bad, and you will get through this. I wholeheartedly believe in that. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of You Are the Healer. I've never even introduced myself, but my name's Sydney. I'm so grateful that you're here. It would mean the world to me if you liked, commented, subscribed, so I can share this message with as many people as possible. And if you know someone going through something like this, I encourage you to send this video to them so they can help learn how to survive something like this too. We are so not alone. Again, this is such a common life experience. I hope this video helped. And until next time, may you be well.